What's good, everybody? Welcome to the B Drizzle Show. I'm your host, Mr. BJ Matthews. First, before we get started, I want to give you guys a thanks from the bottom of my heart for choosing to come over here based off of your own choice and your own power to come over to the Patreon channel that I now have my own personal show that is surrounding not basketball topics, but topics, surrounding the world and, deep topics that, another hidden talent that I have. Um, I'm decided to, jumping into that realm. Of course, you guys know I have my own YouTube channel called the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. And that's surrounding, purely basketball. I started the show with my best friend Rick about a couple years ago. So we have been going strong 2.5 years, going strong on that show. But I decided to, expound my talents per request from my subscribers on that show to start my own show called the B Digital Show on Patreon. Now y'all know Patreon and YouTube are two different platforms. Um, I've had a few episodes, very similar to what we do here at the Patreon on YouTube. However, because of the strict guidelines on YouTube, certain topics I just cannot really indulge in and talk about, and that's why we're here on the Patreon, where I'm able to get a little bit deeper onto some of the topics that can help a lot of people. If you have not read the description, this channel is primarily for men, specifically Black men, who I think that a lot of us have certain things that we need to really really communicate and talk about. And I just don't think there's enough of us, who actually get together and have these type of discussions. And throughout my life and my experiences, I'm able to see things at a deep level. Not to brag or nothing, but I've been told that numerous of times. I'm able to see things in a very very three-dimensional way. And I think some of that has to do with just my natural ability. I think God-given ability where I can just see things and not really know how I do it, but I have that gift. I think some of it has to do with that experience as well. Experiences definitely shape you to have certain knowledge and wisdom. And I just think those two together kind of makes my mind wire the way it is. um but when you have a gift, you're able to share it. You don't keep it to yourself. So that's why I've decided to start this channel, to share my insight and my talents, and be able to give it to people I know I can probably use it and help. So that's why this channel is built, and this is why we'll be starting this channel up, and we'll be going through this for the long haul. You guys will not be disappointed, and I definitely thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. So y'all sit back and enjoy. Like I said on my pull-up show, y'all sit back and enjoy the show, and y'all, take in all the gems. But let's get it going. Now, like I said, this is going to be volume one of the Kobe Bryant series. Okay, the Kobe Bryant series, as you guys know, Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. And a lot of my, insight of how I see not just basketball but life comes from him. For you guys not know, I'm 31 years old, um, and let's just say that I've had a lot of experiences at my young age, where I think a lot of it has made me mature very quickly, and see things at a different level. And as you guys know, Kobe Bryant, a lot was in that same realm. Kobe Bryant was very, very mature for his age, very well spoken, um, polished speaker. How he dressed, how he talked, how he walked. You can tell Kobe was beyond his years. And I took a lot of what he did in a lot of his lifetime and put it applied to myself. Um, so when I talk about him, he's a person that I have a high respect for, not just as a basketball player, but as a man in general. Now, as y'all know, I had a show on YouTube where I spoke about Kobe, and I talked about his parents choosing to auction off his championship ring. So as y'all can see, Kobe Bryant's father puts the late NBA star's 2000 NBA championship rings up for auction. It says the championship ring features a 14 karat gold and 40 diamonds and bid up to 141K. Kobe Bryant's father, like I said, auctioned off his championship ring after his death. And I made a video about that on my YouTube page. If you guys have not saw that video, go onto my YouTube page to Pull Up Basketball Podcast, and you guys will be able to view. It says Kobe Bryant's parents attempt to auction off his 2000 NBA championship ring. Now, of course, in 2000, Kobe Bryant was a champion with the Los Angeles Lakers. There you guys can see Kobe Bryant's father on the right and his mother, Pam, in the middle. That's his mother in the middle, and Joe Bryant's his father on the right. And there's Kobe on the left, winning their first championship. That famous picture right there. So, like I said, after the aftermath of Kobe Bryant winning that ring, he gives off his championship ring to his father as a replica. Kobe Bryant kept the original one, and his father gave the replica one too. And they are putting up this ring for auction right now. Now, of course, the main reason why that we can all come to conclusion with that they actually are putting this up is because they are in need of funds and money. For 141,000 for a ring like that, you don't really put up those type of things up for auction unless it's for a specific reason. And I had my viewpoints on it, and that propelled me to talk about this because of the comments I got off of that video in the chat, and also after the video, people had their opinions on it. What I'm saying, very touchy situation, and certain things that I have to kind of hold back on because, like I said, YouTube is very sensitive. So that's why I said I'm going to start up the Patreon channel, because I need to go deeper into a series like this. And when I'm saying not just this series, but also other topics, there's so much things to talk about in the world. There's never the NBA, like the topics are endless. Just like the news, you can always talk about something when it pertains to I'm saying just life. And I said I'm gonna go ahead and start this Patreon channel up because I think it's something that people need to really hear. So that's why we here. Now, Volume 1, Kobe Bryant, the Kobe Bryant series. What does this entail? Right? What does that mean? Right? Y'all can see the title right there on the screen. The Kobe Bryant series, every black person needs to learn this lesson. Now, like I said, this is a channel specifically for men, but primarily black men. And it's for not just black men, but also black people. Like I said, there's certain avenues and things that us as a people don't have and we don't talk about enough. And I think too many channels, we don't really have much black men who offer certain help and able to counsel one another and share their experiences, because like you said, if me, my experiences as being a black man, we're taught to be strong, we're taught to be tough, you're taught to carry heavy burdens that we have no business carrying, even from young adulthood, whether it comes from being in from a family that your father probably wasn't there, so you had to basically be the man of the house, or your mother count on you to carry the family because the man was not there around, or you have to see certain things or experience certain things at a young age where you kind of are ingrained with those things naturally. As you get older, you tend to take on burdens that you have no business taking on, but because you've been equipped to it and you've been used to it and molded to do it, then you think it's nothing wrong, it's not normal. A lot of dysfunction goes on to the black community, the black race. Not to say that other cultures don't experience the same thing, but I'm specifically talking about us. um, you know like I said, in my 31 years of living, I've grown to understand that a lot of things, I was taught was actually wrong. A lot of things that the older generation, passed down. Some of it was good, I think some of it, you have some positive stuff that, that can be applied to today. But there's a lot of stuff that, was taught to us that we weren't really, was actually not correct. And it's actually put a burden on, not just us physically, but mentally. A lot of black people need therapy. A lot of black people need mental health, because not just off of, I think the destruction of what you know, our people came out here, originally through slavery and, I'm saying, taken away from our homeland in Africa, not to get too deep into it, but um, the black race has experienced a lot of hardship in America. If you're dating back to the Civil Rights Act, to Jim Crow, slavery, um, even to, the years where you can quote unquote say that it's gotten better, we still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of, things we have to, attack and actually come to grips with. But then again, when you're in this much dysfunction and you think so much things are normal, you don't even know where to start. A lot of us think that a lot of stuff that we indulge and we actually, experience and we actually tolerate, we think it's normal. Right? So how does this apply to this subject with COVID? I'm gonna get back to that very simple. Like I said, I had that video on YouTube speaking about, Kobe Bryant's parents selling his ring, his championship ring. Now, of course, I had strong viewpoints about that. But you had people who, obviously felt some type of way about, Kobe, for years. And the relationship with his parents is obviously documented. His relationship with his parents actually, was strained even leading up to his demise and his death. And people for a long time blame Kobe for it. You can hear it even in the masses. A lot of people blame Kobe Bryant for, you know, the sour relationship with his parents. But as you guys can see now, it looks like his parents has some skeletons in their closets as well. And one of the questions I asked is, how is that, you have, a former NBA basketball player such as Joe Jellybean Bryant auction off his ring for money. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what is the what is the what is the direction of this going? You know what I'm saying? If your son, I've already told you, he doesn't want you guys selling his, memorabilia. He had a problem with it when he was alive. I'm talking about Kobe back in 2013, where he sued the company because I think his mother attempted to sell some of his memorabilia. Kobe Bryant found out about it, and he actually, sued the company that tried to sell his stuff. Right, memorabilia, championship rings, things that this man works his blood and sweat tears for. He goes and sells it, and not only that, the replica, ring he gives his father chooses to sell it. So it's just not normal behavior. It's really not. Things of that nature should either be given to the kids or his children, if you don't want it, or the parents should be able to just keep it as, a memory and as a memory. But selling it for money, I just think there's other ways to actually, go about it. But like I said, every black person needs to learn this lesson. Now, like I told y'all, Kobe Bryant didn't have the best relationship with his parents. And much of that had to do with, basically Kobe Bryant, as you guys can see, and in my opinion, him choosing to stand on his own too, and actually stand on his word and quote unquote, do what he felt was right. They had a great relationship at one point, but because of, certain, events, it turned sour. From 2001 all the way to about 2000 and, well, I don't know, 2005, 2000, like, I can say about 2008, right? They pretty much had a very strained relationship. And then after 2008, they tried to, reconcile it. And then 2013, that's when everything went downhill again, when they tried to sell his memorabilia. Now, what's the lesson? What is the lesson that we need that Kobe Bryant, that we can actually take from this situation? Well, Kobe Bryant spoke about, his strained relationship with, his family or his parents primarily, where he wrote something in the Tribune, the NBA Tribune, I think back in somewhere in 2014, 2016, where he's close to retirement. Like I said, Kobe Bryant, after he's getting, ready to retire, I don't believe he was just, somebody that was just retiring, from basketball, I think his, life was, he was began to start. He started to see things a lot differently. He was no longer that 21-year-old kid, who just saw things, you know what I'm saying, in black and white. He started to see things more, clear. I think he had a more understanding of life. I think he started mature and grow more. He wrote a letter to the NBA Tribune speaking upon his experiences when it comes to, family and helping the ones that, were with him for the long call. So it's a little bit of a lengthy, tribute letter, but it was very, very well written, well spoken. It said, "Dear 17-year-old self, when your Laker dream comes true, tomorrow you need to figure out a way to invest in the future of your family and friends. This sounds simple and you may think it's a no-brainer, but sometimes take some time to think on it further. I said invest. Did not say give." He said, "Let me explain." So that's the first, piece of, the letter that Kobe Bryant is writing. He's writing a letter to himself when he was 17 years old. So obviously this is a more mature Kobe Bryant speaking right now, right? Like I said, 17-year-old Kobe Bryant was completely different from, 34, 35-year-old Kobe Bryant, where he started, seeing things at a more three-dimensional way. He's always been intelligent. He's always been well-spoken, but obviously at 17 years old, there's so much, life he had to learn, so many things he had to go through, for him to actually see things the way he is now. And in his letter, he's going to explain some of the, lessons that he learned. So he's talking about, giving to his family and giving to the ones that he actually, love and care about. He said, "Purely giving material things to your siblings and friends may appear to be the right decision. You love them and they were always there for you growing up. So it's only right that they should share your success and all that comes with it. So you buy them a car, a big house, pay for all their bills. You want them to live in a beautiful, comfortable life, right? Now, this really circulates around, like I said, him actually not just speaking to himself, his younger 17-year-old self, but he's also speaking to the young players in the NBA. Like I said, this is part of the NBA Tribune. One of the problems with, I think, a lot of times in the NBA in itself, that we don't have enough things that actually, the OGs can, spread back to the youth. I think the OGs are responsible for the youth and their development. And that's one thing about Kobe Bryant that he, was very passionate about, especially even leaving the game of basketball, was growing the game and actually trying to help the ones after him, trying to, make sure the game was left in a good place. And then a lot of his, hardships he didn't want a lot of the young players have to go through, right? And one of the biggest things that, players have to deal with is when they get a certain level of success, fame, and money, that you have a lot of people around their circle with their hands out. A lot of people want to have a piece of their fortune, right? To the point where, you can make like about $5-10 million contract, and then all the money can be gone when you start, looking at, having to pay for, your parents, your siblings, your friends. You may have, some extended family, your cousins, your aunties. Everybody's asking you for money because they look at you as the breadwinner. Then you see a lot of these, players, and not just basketball players, but athletes end up broke. You know, they start looking around like, what happened to the 10, 15, $20 million? Well, as fast as you make the money, you lose it just as fast, right? Even if you look at people who have, regular, money or jobs coming in, you may have a person who's making six figures and you're responsible for the, well-being of your family. And, a lot of people want to come to you as a cash cow. Now, a lot of black men primarily don't experience a lot of wealth at a young age. So when they get it, they go out there and just buy, the biggest house, the biggest car they can buy, flaunt money, because, when you don't have something, you actually have, the inability to really, monitor your funds very, or your business or your, finances in a mature way. I mean, it's just natural. If I'm used to always being poor, or I don't have the riches, or I have the, resources that a person may have had who actually had it, I'm going to probably, not be able to handle as much. Money is a very, very dangerous thing to have if you don't know how to handle it. It can also be, scary. I'm speaking for personal experience. I've really never had problems with just having money or getting it, but I used to have a problem with really keeping it, maintaining it, budgeting it. So when I look into my account, I might have, a nice little money flow coming in, cash flow coming in. I look into my account, I say, what happened to all my money? Or I'm, swiping my card, or I'm not, budgeting correctly. I mean, that money goes as fast as it comes, right? And this is what this piece, Kobe Bryant's talking about. Now he says his siblings and friends may appear to be the right decision to give to them purely material things. Now, like I said, Kobe, and I spoke about this in my video, got demonized a lot because people felt like he did not take care of his parents like he was supposed to. But it's well documented that Kobe gave to his parents, gave them money, cars, houses that they have to this day in Las Vegas. None of that stuff was documented heavily. The big story was Kobe Bryant was somebody that chose his wife over his parents, which I'm going to talk about in another separate video about his wife and his parents, feud, and how that applies to, us as, men for the most part, primarily black men. But I'm sticking to this one right here, this subject. The lesson right here, he's trying to share that you have to be careful when you give to the people that you love. And when he says his siblings, obviously Kobe has two sisters, two beautiful sisters, Sharia and Shaya, two older sisters that he grew up who was very close to. Um, Kobe spoke about, giving to them at a very young age, and how he felt like, there was a point where he had to, be strong and not be so willing to just give to his, his loved ones, and that include his older sisters, two people that he was very close to, probably as close to as his parents. Because you gotta remember, when you have siblings, you know, they're close to your age, but they actually share a lot of your viewpoints and your sentiments. So while your parents might not understand something, here comes your siblings or your sisters or brothers who you can actually confide in because they might understand something that your parents just might not. And that's the relationship Kobe had with his sisters. That's the relationship I have with my sister and my brother. I have an older sister and I have a younger brother. Right? Nothing can break us apart. Nothing can, pull us or, each different directions. That's the bond that we have. Right. So I completely understand, the bond that Kobe Bryant will have with his sisters. Even a lot of us as, us have, siblings that we confide in that, will fight for, you will actually, defend. That's the relationship that he had with his sisters. But there came a point where he had to, put the put the the line with them because, it came a point where he was taking care of his sisters, to the point where they wouldn't even have to worry about nothing. And he, later on felt like that was kind of something that was just actually hurting them rather than helping them. And that's a lesson a lot of us can take. Sometimes when you just give to a person, and you don't allow them to, be independent somewhat, you're basically putting them in a mindset where they feel like they can all just come back to you and fall back on your lap. And that will actually put them in a bind where they don't know how to actually fend for themselves. Same analogy I gave with the money analogy. If I'm always getting money, if I'm always a person that's just receiving it, but I never actually know how to budget it, then I'm actually hurting myself because I'm not going where nowhere. It's actually like, you're going in circles. You're in the same spot. You're stuck. But let's continue what Kobe had to say. Um, he said, understand that you are about to be the bread holder of the family, and this involves making tough choices, even with your siblings and friends. 9% of the time, invest in their future. This is something that he speaks about what you should do, vice versa, what you shouldn't do. He said, invest in their future. Don't just give. Use your success, wealth, and influence to put them in the best position to realize their own dreams and find their true purposes. Put them through school, set them up with job interviews, and help them become leaders in their own right. Hold them to the same level of hard work and dedication that it took for you to get where you are now and where you will eventually go. Let me stop you right there. So this is a very, very important part as well. Like I just mentioned, Kobe Bryant spoke about, his sisters, his siblings, and him giving to the people that he truly loved, right? Which he doesn't have a problem giving, as you guys can see. He said invest in their future. Don't just give. He doesn't have a problem with giving, but what we tend to do, especially as Black people, as Black men, we're taught to always want to take care and always want to look out for everyone, everybody, right? We can't have a weak moment or else we're weak people. Like I said, we have to be strong all the time for the most part. Kobe Bryant, the biggest lesson that he was taking from this is that he didn't want people to feel like, they just don't have to, be independent with themselves, but they always got to depend on, him as the breadwinner. They always have to depend on him to take care of the load, right? He didn't want to, put himself in that box. So what he gave is actually the advice what should happen. He says, use your success, wealth, and influence to put them in the best position to realize their own dreams and find their true purpose. Put them through school, set them up with job interviews, and help them become leaders in their own right. Why does Kobe Bryant say all this? It's because when you choose to invest, vice versa, give, you actually put a person in their own space to actually be better in their lives. It's all about setting themselves up to have their own success and have their own identity. Because when you have your own, you actually build your own, you tend to appreciate it more, vice versa, using somebody else's wealth or using their own riches. You don't truly, tend to appreciate it as much. You're not going to care for it as much. It's just a natural feeling. If I have, my own business, like I have my own, podcast, I take it very, very seriously about how I choose to, carry it, how I choose to invest in it. I don't mess around with, having, the wrong people around it, right? I choose to always be as, quality with my podcast as possible. Same thing with a lot of y'all listening with this. Like, as a lot of y'all as men, when you have your own, when you invest in your own, it's totally different from you actually using somebody else's. When you have your own, even let's say your own vehicle, your own car, you bought your own car with your own money, you put the, down payment down, you're going to appreciate that car, vice versa, somebody else, may gift it to you, or you didn't have to really work for it. When you have your own money and riches, you're going to actually be a little bit more careful, how you give your money out, how generous you become, because you understand the path and the process that you had to walk through that nobody else did for you. Whether that be the long nights standing up, staying up late, perfecting your craft, or, the hours that you put into what you do to get where you at. Successful people will always tell you there's a certain path they have to take that other ones they're just not willing to take. And once you get to that level, you get the big house, you get the nice cars, the resources, all that. Hey, it comes with you having to take care of it. And that's obviously a level that Kobe Bryant got to. He was worth $650 million as his net worth. Not his gross, his net, meaning that's after taxes and all that stuff. 650 million is what he was worth. You think he's not going to be careful about, how he chooses to invest his money? He says, hold them to the same level of hard work and dedication that took you for you to get where you are now and where you will eventually go. Facts. Basically, I have the funds, I have the money, the riches to help everybody out. But what good is that if I, am hurting them in the process? See, this is something that people have to appreciate about Kobe. He always wanted to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. Very similar to my podcast. My podcast is not for, just basketball people who want to, learn basketball and talk basketball. All that stuff is good, but this is something where the goals and the dreams that I have for my podcast is to rub off on other people. I want them to actually look and actually see what I'm building and what I've built, what me and my co-host Rick have built, and be inspired by it. Which is why, a lot of people, even when they come to, the channel, talk about, you have a gift about this, that, and the other. And that's why we're here on the Patreon with the B Jizzle show. So, it works out for everybody. But Let's continue with the last few pieces. Let me see. So he says, you now, so that you can begin this process immediately, and so that you don't have to deal with the hurt and struggle of weaning them off the addiction that you facilitated. That addiction only leads to anger, resentment, and jealousy from everybody involved, including yourself. As time goes on, you will see them grow independently and have their own ambitions and their own lives, and your relationship with all of them will be much better as a result. Now, what does this mean? Basically, now that you've been a person who's been very giving, very generous to people, including your circle that you know and love, now you start to see their response and their action. How I look at life when it comes to giving to a person, how are they how do they respond to your giving? When you constantly pull them out of bonds, they might ask you for, hey man, I need like $300 for this bill. Can you help me out? I need money for this. I need money for that. Can you help me out? Can I you give me this? Can you gift me with a new car? Can you give me a new home? Can you gift me? It becomes more of like a asking system, right? A system where I'm just going to continuously ask until the well goes dry. And that's what happens to a lot of athletes who don't manage their money correctly. The well goes dry. And then when the well goes dry, they don't have nobody else to lean on. And then you're in a position where you're having to pull yourself out when no one else is around. All the help that you're giving everybody else, they cannot give it back to you. It's a real thing. Think about you making all this money, $15-20 million, and you can't, finna take care of yourself. It's all gone. A lot of people, even, regular people, have that problem. They had all this money at one point, and then all of a sudden, their bank account is reading like $100-200. Like, what the hell happened? What happened is that you allow when you allow certain things to, go on for a long period of time, um, then you're pretty much in a position where you can actually lose everything that you have. Right? That's the addiction that they have. That's what the addiction he's talking about. Right? This lesson needs to be learned, that you cannot be somebody that's just always looking to help everybody out to the point where it puts you in a bad position. Now, like I said, this is still resolving around Kobe Bryant, so I want y'all to really kind of understand what I'm talking about. I'm going through these pieces to really make a point. And then we're gonna go, after that. He said, as time goes on, you will see them grow independently and have their own ambitions and their own lives, and your relationship with all of them will be a much better result as a result. There's plenty more I could write to you, but at 17, I know you don't have the attention span to sit through 2,000 words. Yes, this is like a long piece, but like I said, it's very, very useful. Kobe Bryant eloquently says, you choosing to make the hard decisions by choosing to put your foot down and not just be a person that's just willing to give to a person willingly, and not allow them to be grown. They don't allow to grow them independently. You're not allowing them to do that, is actually hurting them. Now that's up to the person who with their money, they're free to do what they want. But I agree with what Kobe's saying with his tactics, is that, look, his siblings that he was giving money to, his older sisters, Cherie and Shia, um, giving up, his riches, take care of them, full-heartedly. And it looks like to me pretty much taking care of their livelihoods while they just sat back and enjoyed it. It probably got to a point where Kobe said to himself, well, they're smart, they're intelligent, women. If I continuously just be the, well, over and over, I'm pretty much shortchanging my loved ones. That included his sister, that included his parents. And obviously that didn't sit well with a lot of people. Right? That didn't sit well with a lot of people because they felt like Kobe Bryant was being selfish. They felt like he was being arrogant and being evil to his family. But as y'all can see, he gave a lot back to his family, probably too much. and he had to eventually draw the line. Right? Let's continue. He said, things are about to change and things are about to come to you very fast, but just let this sink in a bit when you lay down at night after another 9-hour training day. Trust me, setting things up right from the beginning will avoid a ton of tears and heartache, some of which remains to this day. Much love, Kobe. Now, this is the last part of the letter. Now, as y'all can see, Kobe Bryant is speaking to himself, right? He's speaking to himself. 9-hour training day. He's talking about, much younger self at 17. He's speaking to himself. He's speaking when he says things are going to come at you very fast. He's speaking to himself. Setting things up right in front of you at the beginning, he's speaking to himself. Avoid a lot of tears and heartache. Well, he's speaking to himself. Basically, what he's telling you is that Kobe Bryant um, is talking in third person without using Kobe. He obviously had to go through a lot of things with his family that doesn't get well documented. Right? Kobe Bryant had a life before, you know, he had a life before, he met his wife, Vanessa, his children, Natalia, Gianna, who, rest in peace, died with Kobe Bryant, Bianca, Capri. He had a life before them. He had a family before them. He had a family before them. So to understand how a person is, you got to know where he comes from, right? So when he says things are coming in very fast, like I said, when you're a person of that ilk and you're starting to become the breadwinner at a young age, remember Kobe Bryant came until he got 17 years old. He couldn't even sign his own contract. He needed his parents' signature. That's how young he was. He came into the league living with his parents while giving them money and allowance, um, but living in their own home, right? And don't forget, we're circling around Kobe Bryant's father giving away his ring, his championship ring. So don't forget the main point of this show. I'm going to get back to this very, very soon because it's all going to tie together. It's going to relate to a lot of people who's listening to this show. Now, what is he talking about when he says, um, it's setting things up from the beginning will avoid a lot of tears and heartache? Obviously, it bothered Kobe Bryant not having his parents there, for the long haul. A lot of things were actually done through the process from, him marrying his wife, Vanessa, to him actually, towards end of his NBA career in 2016. Even, to his death. A lot of things that, probably were kept private that weren't really echoed in the media where Kobe Bryant experienced a lot of heartache and, a lot of tears because of the exchange from his parents. But if you let the media tell it, they'll make it seem like Kobe Bryant can care less. But obviously, it bothered him. It bothered him that his parents tried to sell his memorabilia. It bothered him that his parents did not approve of his wife Vanessa. It bothered him that they chose to basically stay away from him and his family, his new family, to the point where he became very resentful and angry. Right? They chose to stay away from Kobe Bryant and his wife and his family, not the other way around, because his sisters became more involved in his life, especially after 2016. As y'all can see right here, It said Brian began giving his family large sums of money. He had been blessed with great wealth, and it made him feel good to share with his loved ones. However, he saw it as having unintended consequences. He saw that some of his family members, this generosity was eating their own dreams and ambitions. The money had become an addiction to them. Brian appeared to believe that by making his family too comfortable, he was actually inhibiting to their growth. Like I said, when he says family member, he's talking about his immediate family, right? Some people took it. Some people took it like how it's supposed to be taken, basically, respecting his wishes and doing better for themselves, and others didn't. His sisters actually took Kobe Bryant's advice and actually chose to, instead of being resentful towards him for not giving all the time, they chose to be independent with their lives, and they had a beautiful relationship to this day, where both his sisters have a beautiful relationship with, not just had a relationship with not just with Kobe, but also his wife, Vanessa, and their children. Right there in the middle, that's I think Sharia, Kobe Bryant's sister's daughter, which is Kobe's niece. I don't remember her name, but I think she plays volleyball. That's Kobe Bryant's niece right there. This is, well after Kobe Bryant's retired. Of course, you guys can see, like, you know, he's out pretty much out of retirement at this point. So this came after the, marriage. Of course, this came after, 2013, where, Kobe Bryant's parents tried to sell his stuff. This came after all that stuff. So obviously there was no bad blood between Kobe Bryant and his sister's family. But when you talk about Kobe Bryant and his parents, there's still some resentment there. There was still some anger there, because they felt as if, well, mainly his mother felt as if, how dare you choose to hold me accountable? That's how it came off, at this point. Um, she does not have a relationship with Kobe Bryant's wife, Vanessa. But as you guys can see, Kobe Bryant's sister and his niece have a relationship with both the two. They're all smiling in this picture. They both seem to be, very, very happy. So some people took it differently. He said, writing to his younger self, Kobe Bryant said he'd do things differently. He would not cut off his family, but he would give them more intentionally, more wisely. Human beings are called to grow and create, not merely consume. It wasn't that Bryant didn't have enough money to give. He did, but he came to believe his money has a corrosive effect, not a healthy one. Like I just mentioned, he believed that just giving to his family, blindly, was hurting them, not helping them. He cared about his family's development. He cared about them as individuals, as people. Anybody can just willingly give over and over and over, like a lot of us, especially as Black men, like to do. This is a lesson that we need to learn. Sometimes you feeling like you giving to a person is actually hurting them, not helping them. Some of us get, demonized when we choose to say no. The mental effect that we have to take, we have to take on burdens that we have no business taking on, which I'm gonna explain to what I mean that in a minute. Um, Sometimes we don't even know the toxicity and the dysfunction that we deal with, because we've been dealing with it for so long. Kobe Bryant obviously believed that at a point he felt like giving to his family blindly was the right thing to do. But he became older and more wiser to understand this is not what it's supposed to be like. Yes, I'm supposed to be there for my family, give them nice things and take care of them in certain aspects, not to the point where they don't act like they're adults themselves, where they can't grow and create their own um, dreams and passions. They have passions of their own. They're pretty much being shortchanged because of, you know, basically, I'm just basically the breadwinner of the family. So let me go a little bit deeper about, like I said, this is surrounding the championship ring and how I felt. Obviously, I felt like his parents were wrong to sell his championship, and there's no reason why in the world that his father should have to put up a ring if they're that much of in a bad spot, where they cannot take care of their own self and their bills. That's the only reason I see that they're even doing this auction for this ring, because they're in a bad spot. For those of you that know, Kobe Bryant bought his family, his parents a home, bought his parents a house in Las Vegas. He talked about, he bought him a house. He talked about how, he gave, and they just continuously take. Right? As you guys can see right here, it says when you give, and they take. At what point do you draw a line in the sand? Kobe tweeted at the time, adding hashtags hurt beyond measure, gave me no warning, and finally love. Now, like I said, this isn't the first time his parents, primarily his mother, tried to sell things, um, without his permission. When it comes to certain things, as far as memorabilia and things of that nature, where a person works hard for their memorabilia and they give it to you as a gift and you just up and sell it, without their permission, without them noticing, and it's just pretty much blindside, you can exactly feel what he's talking about. Kobe Bryant, for the that you guys know love basketball, he was one probably the hardest working players that we've ever seen. He put his blood, sweat, and tears into the game, to the point where he did not take lightly, his craft. Very similar to my craft when it comes to this podcasting business. A lot of y'all understand when I talk about a lot of these topics, when it even comes to my basketball realm, I put a lot of time and effort, quality, research, my own experiences to give to y'all, to give y'all a great show, because I feel like y'all deserve it. That's what Kobe Bryant thought of when it comes to basketball. He always felt it was his duty. He always felt like his responsibility to give you guys the best product possible. And when people have that type of mindset, they don't take kindly to other people, you know what I'm saying, not treating it as, delicately as he would treat it. They take it as disrespect. Because again, nobody can fill in the shoes of the person actually doing the work. Right? So obviously that put a strain on their relationship. In a interview that Kobe Bryant had, I think in 2015 or so, he said our relationship is shit. He explained, I say I'm going to buy a very nice home. And the response is that's not good enough. Then you're selling my shit. Right? Like I said, Kobe Bryant bought his family, his parents, took care of them for a number of quite a period of time. And instead of a thank you, or instead of a I appreciate it, or we definitely appreciate it, it's not good enough. Right? How hurtful. Same way a lot of you guys, who are watching the channel, even primarily let's speak to men, black men, because it's more gearing towards us. I know there's other people that's going to, be watching who are not black, but I'm speaking primarily to us because this is a problem that we need to get over when it comes to choosing to take the onus in our own hands and not just be willing to just be victimized to, some of the things we're taught as kids, as in we never can tell our parents, we always have to take care of our parents no matter what. They can never be wrong. They can't be corrected. That's the lifestyle that's the lifestyle I came from. You always take care of mommy and daddy no matter what. Right? Now, of course, you want to take care of your parents, but there has to be a level of respect there, especially if you're the one actually taking care of them financially. There has to be a level of respect there. There's something that the older generation doesn't understand. I don't think that once your kids become a certain age, it's no longer child parent relationship. Now it's adult relationship. You honor your parents, you honor your mother and your father, that it shall prolong your days. I'm speaking in the Christian or the biblical way. Honor your mother and father, um, obviously extends your days. That's very true. But there's a verse right under it where it says, fathers, do not provoke your sons to anger. And when he's saying father, he's also speaking to the mother too. Because like I said, when it comes to biblical terms, I don't mean to get off kilter, but it speaks upon just both. It speaks upon the man and the woman. Basically, they're telling you is it's a two-way street. Kobe Bryant's parents try to basically treat Kobe Bryant as that same 17-year-old kid instead of treating him like a 34, 35-year-old man. And I get it. Parents look at kids as always going to be their children, but this is the problem with a lot of black, the black race and the black family. We don't know how to actually separate that from, being an adult where it becomes unhealthy, right? They felt like it was no problem. They feel like they could still, basically take something from him. He's giving you a kind gesture, giving you a home. And instead of saying, thank you, son, for the home, thank you, and being grateful for it, you're saying that's not enough. That's not good enough. And then you're going to do even worse by selling his stuff. That's basically trying to emasculate him, which a lot of black men go through at a young age. Emasculation, the mental burden, the mental hole that they have to, deal with when they get into adulthood. Still having that, how can I put this? Emasculation is basically taking away a man's manhood or trying to take away a man's manhood. Not grooming them to be men and actually preparing them for the real world. Being in that adult body, having that same boy inside of them that they never fixed. Right? Similar to the girl, similar to the girl who is an adult woman but still has that little girl that was never fixed, didn't have the father figure to teach her how to be treated. Like she's still that same damaged girl. Same thing with a boy, same thing with a man. If you didn't fix that damaged boy growing up as a child, where you felt like it was okay to be talked to a certain way, treated a certain way, um, disregard a certain way, you're gonna think that's okay. You're gonna grow up and have those same issues when you go up into adult unless you attack it and you actually deal with it. Kobe had to reach a point in his life where he had to basically tell his parents that he was no longer that child no more. He had to take up matters into his own hands and marry his wife, even if it meant his parents didn't approve of it or they had problems with it. They didn't attend the wedding. I'm not saying you disregard and disrespect your parents, but they have to understand when the good book or the word says honor, it means have a high respect and esteem to your parents, but you don't have to do exactly what they tell you to do when you grow out and actually get old enough to make your own decisions. Right? So after the actions of his parents choosing to try to sell his memorabilia, he said there was actually a statement made out by that same auction company. We regret our actions and statements related to the Kobe Bryant auction memorabilia. The statement read, "We apologize for any misunderstanding and unintended pain we have caused our son and appreciate the financial support he has provided over the years. We apologize to Golden Auctions for their inadvertent involvement in this matter and thank them for their assistance." Okay, now obviously this was a statement made after Kobe Bryant chose to not sue his parents because that was the story. Again, people threw fire on him. Well, why is Kobe Bryant suing his parents? As y'all can see, he didn't sue his parents. He sued the auction company, which he had every right to because, again, he did not give permission to his mother primarily to sell those items. Like I said, when you talk about prized possessions like memorabilia, and this guy put so much hard work and time into his craft, and he gives it to his mother as a gift, and you just up and sell it, very similar to his father giving his ring and he's just selling it. The disrespect the second time is like, damn, like, do you even care about the do you just care more about money? Do you care about, what I'm trying to give to y'all as, prized possession? My prized possession is my blood, sweat, and tears I give to y'all should be priceless. It's not about the product or the material, ring or whatever. It's about, as your son, I'm giving you something that means a lot to me, means the world to me, because you guys are my parents. And I love y'all, but y'all choose to have money and hold that over than actually, my heart and my feelings. That's what it came down to. That's why Kobe Bryant was so hurt when that happened out of nowhere. He was blindsided. right? So obviously the statement was basically, made through a company, unintended pain we have caused our son, and appreciate the financial support he has provided over years. Like I said, he gave plenty to his parents. He took care of his parents for a long time. That doesn't get documented enough because it's not big enough of his story. He said we also apologize to Golden Auctions for their involvement in this matter and thank them for their assistance. Like I said, he was actually suing the company. But my question is why is it a second time that his parents have tried to sell his stuff? Like if you sold it back in 2013, why are you selling it again when he's already just basically made it very clear that he was bothered by it, right? Why is it a second attempt to try to sell some memorabilia for some money? What is really going on? Because see, like the message used to be Kobe Bryant, why, how can he, his parents, why are they in the position they are in? Why is he not giving to his parents? Well, we just already debunked it that he actually does give to his parents. He just chose to actually put a line in the sand and said enough's enough. But when I say how is it that his parents are in this position, what I'm saying is that we have to remember Kobe Bryant's father played professional basketball. He had an 8-year career in the NBA and an 8-year career overseas. Right? We have to remember that he had an 8-year career in the NBA and an 8-year career overseas. Right? That same lifestyle that Kobe Bryant had growing up, where'd that lifestyle go when his father got out the NBA? See, people are not looking deep enough into it. Kobe Bryant had a very, very prestige lifestyle growing up. He didn't grow up in the hood. He didn't grow up in a bad neighborhood. He grew up and it was able to benefit by being overseas. He was able to benefit from having to be able to speak more than 2, 3 languages. He was able to benefit. He spoke English. He spoke Italian. He worked on Spanish as he got older. And I think he spoke Mandarin. He was working on Mandarin as he got older. But he had a very great education. His father was able to actually give him a very good life. That's his family right there. Very, very black, very, very good black family, kind of like the Fresh Prince. So, what exactly would Kobe Bryant need to give his father or give his family to take care of him when you already had the breadwinner? You already had a father who basically took care of you and gave you a very, very nice lifestyle. Let me tell you something. Kids don't owe their parents when it comes to paying in their money. That's a choice. That's another lesson that black people need to understand. We're the only race that tends to do is we are obligated to take care of our families and parents instead of it being a choice. It's a responsibility and requirement. You shouldn't depend on your kids to take care of you as a parent. If your kids do it out of their heart and their own, what I'm saying, goodness of it, that's a choice. But it's becoming now as a requirement. And if you even set boundaries just a little bit, you get demonized. Like Kobe got demonized. Like a lot of us, or a lot of people who, you know, take care of their families get demonized. Black men will get demonized because of them choosing to, have boundaries. Like say, I'm not gonna, cut you off entirely, but hey, you need to, slow down. Like, I have to, I appreciate my money. I say I value my money because I had to earn it. I mean, that sounds like it makes sense. If you value something, you're going to be more careful how you actually use it and not abuse it. So again, Joe Bryant, I looked up his net worth, had a net worth of $5 million. 8-year career in the NBA, played for the 76ers, played for the Rockets, played for the Clippers. Then he goes overseas, plays in Italy. He's one of the best Italian players in the Italian league. Obviously getting a very, very good income at the time, living in a very, very prestige household. able to, afford Kobe Bryant to have great education growing up, right? So I kind of laugh when people make it seem like his parents are in such need of financial situation. So I'm just like, what happened to all the money that was actually for for them? Joe Bryant had a coaching job with the Los Angeles Sparks. I mean, hell, even just his name, just him being Kobe Bryant's father, he can automatically get certain perks. But going as deep as selling his championship ring, I mean, you done hit rock bottom. And I don't think people are looking at that enough. Like, you selling something, you pawning something. I don't mean this be disrespectful, but that's kind of like, that's crackhead stuff, to be honest with you. Pawning stuff and choosing to that's something where that's crackhead behavior. Not calling him Mr. Bryant a crackhead, but or his his wife or whatever. But that's something that's what a crackhead would do. You got a $5 million network that you earned in the NBA. What happened to all the money that you made and you earned? And why is it that you're the only ones choosing to make all these big splashes? I mean, like I said, Kobe Bryant has two sisters. Both of his sisters are pretty, what I'm saying, taken care of. They're pretty well off. You don't see them choosing to, do, wild stuff like, what, his parents are doing, who should be more better well off, who should be teaching their children and his siblings how to actually, the blueprint, which apparently at one point Joe and Pam had. They had the blueprint. They took care of the family. They were actually, I'm saying, making the money that they were supposed to be making, leading the family that was supposed to be leading. But something happened where they were living amongst, beyond past their means. And now they're, in a situation where they're, trying to, make up for the money that they lost. Like I said, you can go through money as fast as you make it. At one point, Joe Bryant was making, NBA money, overseas money. Yes, it was a different time, but he was still making more money than the average human being, being a professional athlete. And when, like I said, when you make that type of money, you live, a certain lifestyle, you can lose it very quickly. I mean, look at the family. Like, you could tell. I mean, his wife, obviously, very beautiful woman. You could tell she likes nice material things. You could tell that she likes the finer things in life. And Joe Bryant, being the husband, feels obligated to give his wife whatever. Happy wife, happy life. That's the model, right? But now you fast forward, what, 30 some years later, and you're in a position now where you're actually selling your son's championship ring just to, seem like just to, I'm saying, make time go by. What happens when that money goes away? What happens when that well goes dry? See, the bottom line is that how this applies the Kobe Bryant series to, real life is, and it goes to basically every black person needs to learn this lesson. We have to, first of all, be retaught, and we have to also be we need a lot of therapy, and a lot of things need to be retaught that we were actually taught as a young age. Stuff like just give generously to anybody without no restraints, without no guidelines, without no lines drawn, right? We have to stop demonizing people who have boundaries, who value certain things that they work hard for, and learn to respect what they tell them and not be resentful. I think that Kobe Bryant's sisters took one approach and his parents took a different approach. Now that might come off as just off the whole, well, I took care of you mindset as a young age, basically doing what you were called to do, being parents. You take that as basically just the idea that, you want a prize for it. you wanted a prize for basically doing what you were supposed to do as parents. His sisters took it one way, not being resentful, where Kobe Bryant told him, basically, you know, I love you guys deeply, but there has to be some guidelines. There has to be some lines drawn. And because of that, that saved their relationship. And that also allowed them to see what the real problem was. I mean, no disrespect to Mr. Bryant and Pam, but it's mighty funny that now you see Sharia and Shaya's, you know, which is Kobe's sisters, be closer to Kobe Bryant and his wife more than their own parents. Like they both have Instagram. They have Instagram. They all have Instagram. If you go to Kobe Bryant's sister, I think her name is Sharia Washington. She has pictures of Kobe Bryant. She hollers. She acknowledges Kobe Bryant after his death, how much she misses her, and all that stuff. But you don't see any pictures with him, her, and the parents. You don't see the kids with the parents. They all live in Las Vegas. Kobe Bryant's sisters, his parents, nieces, nephews, they all live in Vegas. And if you go to their social media, they don't have any pictures up of Mr. Bryant and Mrs. Bryant. So I personally believe that at one point, Cherie or Kobe's sisters actually sided with their parents blindly, but then when they actually saw the real issue and the real problem and what was really going on, they had to change their heart. Like I said, there's no reason for them to sell this man's championship ring just to get by. If anything, they should be able just to swallow their pride and actually, and this might be something also may be destined. This may be something that I'm not saying that, it's God's will, but I'm saying like it's mighty funny that now the parents are in a tight spot choosing to do this instead of asking Kobe's wife for assistance. I'm going to have another volume 2 or volume 3, one of the volumes speaking about Vanessa Bryant and his feud with his parents, because that's another thing. The big story has always been that Vanessa has been the one that ruined Kobe Bryant's relationship with his parents. But as time went on, we started seeing the real issues. Like I said, the media is going to put out what they want to put out, and people are going to buy on what their personal feelings are, and they're going to buy on what their story is. But like I said, the truth will always, come to light. Because of the feud they had with Vanessa, they're now in a position where they need help. And instead of just simply asking their daughter-in-law, like, hey, we need some assistance, we need help, can you please help us? They rather choose to auction off this man's ring instead of asking for assistance. Their pride will not allow them to go to Vanessa, who she didn't acknowledge. She didn't acknowledge the mother or the father. And I think Sharia and Shea were, on the right of them were still kind of going through their little, spat as well. But they eventually came around. The sisters eventually came around later on. Right? So like I said, they rather sell Kobe Bryant's ring, who Kobe already made it clear he didn't want his memorabilia stolen, to the point where he actually sued the company. But instead of his parents respecting his wishes and not doing it, they choose to go 10 years later and do it in a different way because, again, they have hit rock bottom. But like I said, life will humble you if you don't do right. For years, the whole niche was Kobe Bryant didn't care about his parents. He was evil towards his parents. He didn't take care of his parents. But as y'all seen, all the screenshots that I put out, he gave to his parents and gave them plenty of years of financial support. Now, people read that and be like, wow, he didn't know that. Yeah, of course you didn't know that, because it wasn't popular to say at the time. That's why I say, when it comes to narratives, I like to destroy those type of things, because it really does ruin people's lives. Because people just don't take time out to really use cognitive thinking and really think things out if it makes sense or not. Don't nobody say the same thing for 10 years or have a problem with somebody for 10 years if it's probably not true. So me ending it with this, and I hope that y'all enjoyed this first episode, because there's gonna be many more coming to this series. Black men, black people, like I said, there's a lot of things we need to unlearn, and one of the things we need to unlearn is feeling like we are obligated to deal with dysfunction. That we are designed to deal with dysfunction. That we're able to take on things that we have nothing to take, no reason to take burdens on. A lot of the hosts that we deal with at a young age are unnecessary. But you'll have people even in your own circle feeling like that you should be taking on certain challenges that are not even your battles. And it puts you have so much turmoil in your life, man. And I've learned that even my 31 years of living, that you cannot take on people's battles only but so much, because it's going to put you in a bad spot. And that's what Kobe tried to explain in his letter, that you don't want to put yourself in a position where you're helping somebody out where it hurts you in the long run, because nobody's going to be there to save you. Nobody's going to be there to help you. But once you learn that lesson and you start looking at things in that direction, you're going to start seeing things in a very, very better way in your life. So I welcome people to, hopefully they, took in this video and that y'all enjoyed this live. Like I said, we'll be doing videos, probably two videos I'll be putting out. I'll be putting this one out tonight, and I'm going in tomorrow. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoy this. All right, peace.